Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Saint Amtadeo. I'm going to uh, present on adultery through the lens of Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative. In this presentation, I will explain how Kantian deontology evaluates adultery using the three formulations of the categorical imperative. I will also discuss the importance of honest moral duty, trust, and respect in human relationships. This topic is important because relationships and moral responsibilities are part of everyday human life. Even though emotions and desires can influence human decisions, Kant believed that morality should be guided by reason, universal principles, and respect for other people. As we continue, uh, we shall be starting with the introduction to deontology. What is deontology? Deontology is an ethical theory that focuses mainly on duty and responsibilities. According to this theory, actions are judged based on whether they follow moral principles rather than uh, based on consequences alone. Immanuel Kant is one of the main philosophers associated with deontology who believed that people should do what is morally right, even when it becomes emotionally difficult or personally challenging. Okay, as we continue with Kant and the categorical imperative, Kant introduced the categorical imperative actually as a guide for moral behavior. This principle teaches that people should act only according to rules they would want everyone to follow. Kant believed that morality should be based on reason and moral duty rather than emotions, desires, or personal benefits. As we continue on slide number 4, we shall be talking about the three formulations of the categorical imperative, where we have universal formulation, human as an end formulation, and kingdom of ends formulation. Here, moral actions must respect universal ethical theories. Human dignity and rationality should always be respected, as you can cite from Cranach 2019. It's a very highly credible source and relevant for today's presentation. As we continue, ladies and gentlemen, on slide number 5, adultery as an ethical issue adultery is an ethical issue because it often involves betrayal, dishonest, broken promises, and loss of trust. In many relationships, trust is one of the most important foundations of commitment. When adultery happens, it may cause emotional pain, family problems, broken relationships, and psychological suffering. Adultery can also affect children, relatives, friendships, social stability, and other affairs. Because of this, many societies and cultures consider fidelity and honesty as important values within committed relationships. So, as we continue with slide number 6, which is universal law and adultery, Moral actions should be universalizable. What does this mean? It means actions should be morally acceptable if everyone practiced it, or them. If everyone committed adultery whenever they wanted, trust and commitment in relationships would gradually collapse. So, marriage and committed relationships depend heavily on honesty, loyalty, fidelity, and trust. As we continue on human as an end, adultery may involve deception and manipulation. Human as an end formulation teaches that human beings should always be respected and never treated merely as objects for personal pleasure. Kant believed that every person possesses dignity and deserves honesty, fairness, and moral respect. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, we shall go to the next slide. Moral actions should support an ethical society. This is the kingdom of ends and adultery. We are now relating it to or comparing it with adultery and see how it can judge here. The kingdom of ends formulation encourages individuals to act as members of a morally responsible society. Can't imagine the society where people follow ethical principles willingly and respect one another equally here. Ethical reflection. Although Kantian ethics strongly condemns adultery, in real life situations can sometimes become emotionally difficult and complicated. People may experience some loneliness, yes, disappointment, yes, emotional pressure. Emotional pressure also is another big problem. Relationship conflicts, no communication, or personal struggles that may challenge their ability to make ethical decisions. So, some individuals may feel emotionally neglected or unhappy in relationships, which can influence their decisions. However, Kant believed that moral responsibility remains important even during challenging and difficult situations. He urged that moral principles should not change simply because circumstances become emotionally painful. Yes, here we can learn something. Never always decide out of emotions. So, it also reminds people that ethical decisions can affect not only individuals but also families and societies as a whole. As we continue in conclusion, on slide number 10, deontology judges morality according to duties and moral principles rather than consequences. Through the three formulations of the categorical imperative, adultery is generally considered morally wrong because it conflicts with honesty, trust, fidelity, and respect for human dignity. Under universal formulation, adultery cannot become a universal moral rule because it would destroy trust in relationships. Under human as an end, adultery may fail to respect individuals fully as people with dignity and feelings. Under the kingdom of ends, adultery weakens the moral values necessary for a respectful and responsible society. Although emotional struggles may influence human behaviors, Kantian ethics teaches that people should continue acting according to moral responsibility and universal ethical principles. You can cite from these highly credible sources on my last slide, which is 11. Yes, you can get more information from here as exhibited, and this is the continuation. You can also get more information or facts from here, and they are highly credible and relevant to what we are trying to discuss today. Thank you for the time offered. Thanks for your attention to this presentation. Have a nice time.